Hi everyone, welcome to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast, your daily audio summary of the latest news reported in the Ukrainian media. Sorry for the pause in our episodes. Due to power outages, we had some technical difficulties. My name is Artem, and here is the news. 815 days less the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Ukrainian boxer Alexander Usyk defeated British boxer Tyson Fury this night, reports Suspilne. This way, Usyk, who had already been WBA, WBO, and IBF and IBO champion, won WBC belt and became an absolute world champion in heavyweight. The boxers went the full distance of the fight, and the judges gave the victory to the Ukrainian by a split decision. In the first half of the fight, Usyk more often delivered blows and clamped Fury near the corner. The Briton tried to counterattack. In particular, he did it thanks to uppercuts. Only in the sixth round did Fury look more active than Usyk and hit the Ukrainian with several strong blows. In the eighth round, Usyk was able to punch Fury right in the nose, after which the Briton started bleeding. In the ninth, the Briton was knocked down, but held on until the end of the round. President of Ukraine Volodymyr Zelensky congratulated Usyk and said, quote, "Ukrainians hit hard, and in the end, all our opponents will be defeated. Alexander Usyk is the absolute world champion, a difficult battle that proves Ukrainian endurance and strength give birth to Ukrainian victory," unquote. Yesterday, Ukraine honored the victims of the deportation of the Crimean Tatar people that happened 80 years ago by the decision of the Soviet authorities. The whole Crimean Tatar population of the peninsula was forcibly moved to Central Asia and allowed to return only in the 80s. Now they again suffer from persecutions of the Russian occupation authorities. We would really appreciate if you could rate us, ideally with 5 stars, and leave a glowing review in the app where you're listening to this podcast, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, and others. This really helps more people to find out about the highlights from Ukraine and truth about Russia's invasion. In his evening video address, President Volodymyr Zelensky said that the Russian invaders are losing their infantry and equipment, especially in the Kharkiv region, where they were counting on a rapid advance. The fighting is ongoing on other directions as well. Quote, Kramatorsk, Pokrovsk, Kurakhove, the southern directions, wherever the situation is difficult, our forces give a decent rebuff to the occupier, unquote, said the president. He thanked Ukrainian warriors who repelled the Russian assault on Chasiv Yar in the Donetsk region. There, Ukrainian warriors destroyed more than 20 armored vehicles of the enemy. Volodymyr Zelensky gave an extensive interview to the AFP agency, reports Ukrainska Pravda. In this interview, the head of state said that Ukraine has only about 25% of what it needs to defend itself in terms of air defense. Zelensky stated that 120 to 130 F-16 fighter jets or other modern aircraft are needed to be on a par with Russia. AFP reported that the president was highly critical of the restrictions on using Western-supplied weapons to strike Russian territory. Quote, they can fire any weapons from their territory at ours. This is the biggest advantage that Russia has. We can't do anything to their systems which are located on the territory of Russia with Western weapons, unquote. The president believes that Ukraine has prospects of launching counteroffensive actions in the future if the armed forces are sufficiently manned. Quote, first and foremost, we need to stabilize the situation at the line of contact. As you can see, it is not stable. I would say this, it's their turn now. They need to be stopped and we will stop them. Then we need the appropriate staffing for the brigades so that they can take the next counteroffensive step, unquote, said Zelensky. Asked whether the new counteroffensive could happen in 2025, the president said, quote, I can't say. I know the answer, but I can't say, unquote. Thank you for listening to the Highlights from Ukraine podcast. We're a commercial initiative of just 2 people and we need your help to grow. Share information about the podcast, rate us in the app, subscribe to our Patreon. With your support, we are getting better. We call on you to demand from governments of your countries to impose the toughest sanctions possible on Russia and its citizens to stop their invasion of Ukraine.